compilation of failed video things. A couple of years back I was planning, I'll make a big video on, I like Princess Maker, let's look at all the spiritual successors, games based on Princess Maker that are out, and it turned out there's actually a lot more have come out of them since I was a kid. There's now like dozens of them nowadays, and I tried playing a few of them and just got a bit burned out because some of them were bad, and I was like, oh, I'd have to finish all of these to make a comprehensive video on every possible Princess Maker spiritual successor, and I discovered there was like 30 ones that were in Japan that never got an official localization, and there's a whole Korean subculture of other ones too. And then I was just like, oh yeah, this is just a fool's errand of an idea for a video to do every Princess Maker game. So instead of toning it down to just doing a video on just the ones I liked as a kid, I kind of just forgot about the whole idea until now. I've just realized, yeah, I still totally have some of the things I recorded for that. I have lost most of my research I did for this. I didn't have a very good file structure. I have no idea where half of the stuff is. So let's just explore what I can find. Enjoy this random video of disconnected clips from a video that may never happen. The only one of the actual game footages I've still got here is My Pet Protector, which is a Flash game based on Princess Maker, made in English. Back when I was a little kid, I would play this on the library computer in school all the time. Might be fun to just do a video on purely this and give a review. There's only 3 games in the series, they're all pretty short. But for now, funny clips. Here's the cool Armor Games intro. Oh, nostalgic. And then actually the entirety of the game is a loop of only this one song. It's really nostalgic, but also, why? Unique funny glitch that only happens running it on the current Armor Game Flash Player emulator thing. This definitely did not happen when I was a kid. I would have remembered this, like, oh, poor little interface, it's scared. No, this is just clearly like the best way to sum up the entire game. Oh, I missed. Oh, he missed. Oh, I missed. Oh, he missed. For some reason, everyone's accuracy is set really, really low in the first game in this series in particular, on both sides, and every fight takes ages. It me in the game. You will always be wearing wildly unfitting armor sets because it's totally random what bonuses you get on them. It me in the sequel to the game. Even worse fit. It me in the third game, and that's the only one that had the hairstyle. Pros of the third game, you can play as a girl. Cons of the third game, all skin tones except white are glitched out. You still get white ears and mouth. And I don't know how that happened when the first 2 games just had functional black people. I have no idea what the fuck this means, how I am supposed to glean any information from it. I never learned how magic damage worked. And hey, if you out there are interested in playing, I would say the second game in the series is best. The first game really rudimentary. The third game overly complicated, tried to change absolutely everything. Ridiculous levels of difficulty, doesn't explain any of the new features. But hey, I got at least a little bit of fun from all of them. Another game that's not translated, when I ran it through Google Translate, it gave me The Crowned Hand of God, which is a badass fucking title, but it's also got some kind of Latin underneath it, and I hope it's equally as cool. One of the love interests is from a fantasy race who has no gender up till puberty, and then changes into a man or a woman depending on how they feel. Their route can go different ways depending on how you interact with them, depending on what happens. Apparently the game has multiple endings, like not just love and friendship, there's like love and friendship and hate and rivalry and all these varying different things. I have no idea which one gets which gender result for this character, but obviously as a non-binary person myself, I just found it a fun idea for the world building. I couldn't find a very good screenshot of the male option, but here is roughly what it is. But it looks really similar to them when they were already neutral, just taller. And then the female option is wildly different. So I would guess probably most players would prefer this version just because the design is more varied. If it was me and I was chosen to design 3 variants of the same character, I would have tried to make them as different as possible while still retaining the same aesthetic to know it's like the same personality underneath. Oh, here's a bigger concept art of the dude one. And then again back compared to their young neutral form. It does look really, really similar to me, but maybe it's my face blindness. Are there more differences that you guys can see? I think maybe more torn nose, and well, they slapped some ponytails on. And then I also thought, I'll watch the Princess Maker anime, Petite Princess Yusi. It's a unique separate continuity from the games with different characters. Except Cube the butler, who was so popular he got to stay in both. I really like him. As you can see, like every other Bonford project, it ballooned in scope and I got to cover every single thing in the entire franchise. I'm very glad I put a lid on it and quit this when I was ahead. But I have some random funny scenes of things I liked. Clunky exposition!
And then you add a drop of this magic potion I had a witch make for me into the pot, like so.
Bad voice acting!
Cerberus, what is such a violent monster doing in this forest?
Also, incidentally, I do like how Lord Drago is like an alternate universe version of the Dragon King Grandpa from Princess Maker 2 if he was not in fact a pervert who hit on children. He's kind of boring as a character, but like he's a nice normal regular mentor figure with no sex crimes. And the dad is such a nice guy. The dad is basically the representation of the protagonist from the actual games, and they just chose to interpret it as him being the best single father ever, like house husband, and he's just great. And I never understood the whole joke is just Yusi doesn't like that her dad is really nice to her all the time and thinks he's embarrassing, and I just don't get how the audience is meant to be on her side rather than his. So he has some really fucking wholesome moments with him.
She must be doing a lot of hard labor at her new job.
Yoshi, tomorrow I'll make you a meal to give you the stamina you need. Smells terrific. With this meal...
Wow! Daddy, your delicious cooking is still simply the best. Oh, I'm so fortunate to be your daughter.
I do like though that this one just ends with him maniacally laughing about how much he loves his child.
I just hope this doesn't lead to another sad ending.
It always does, it always does. I don't get why it's supposed to be funny that she doesn't like her dad. Oh yeah, I also really ship these two.
Kokoloo! Oh, Kokoloo, you're my goddess, my goddess! What?
It's kind of amazing how much romantic tension Yusi has with all of the female friend characters, and yet they just want you to ship her with the jerk-ass prince guy. Maybe he gets better later in the series, I never actually finished it. And then this lady is just big mood. Random lady with a monster for a pet.
It may be a pet, but it is a baby pet. Makuri, my baby. I was so worried. Were you lonely without mommy?
Same. I also have some screenshots of the sweet gnomes. The gimmick is every episode Cube can summon only one magical item from the Demon World catalogue to solve the problem of the day. And this time it was just a thing that generates infinite amounts of tiny little grandpas. And they baked a bunch of cakes. I love them. I also really like the Demon Lady's butler. His name is Mr. Gaga, and he's a magic cat who can turn into a man. Fancy grandpa personality, he's very sensitive soul, he's lovely. And there's a great contrast between the Demon Lady is obviously she's your classic tsundere, arrogant villainess archetype. It's really fun seeing all the different princesses that compete against each other. They all have fun personalities, and it's great. He's the only one of the butlers who really gets very much focus though. Salvage is a cool game about raising a daughter in a sci-fi dystopian future. I really like the unique art style, it's cool. I actually supported this one myself on Kickstarter before it came out, which means that not my dead name, but a nickname I temporarily used before I decided on changing my name permanently, that's forever in the Kickstarter backers list. That is an unfortunate consequence of doing Kickstarter while being trans. Like, unless you never do it until after you've fully finished your transition, you're inevitably going to have at least one game with the wrong you. So here is my daughter from my playthrough, and here's the outfit I picked for her. A little bit of a confusing but interesting thing I found is the game lets you have non-binary character selection for your protagonist, yet later on in the game, no matter what you do, your daughter will always be like, I don't understand what non-binary is, explain non-binary to me, to the one non-binary character in the cast, and it's like, I'm going to assume you're male because you look more male to me, and I'm not sure what's going on there. I think they might have like just written that route really early on in development before they decided to add the option for your kid to have been raised their entire life by someone who's genderless and would obviously not make the same mistake. Oh, and one random funny glitch screenshot. Oh, speaking of games with my dead name in them, when I played Ora no Shikabane no Koe Kote or something, basically it means over my dead body, and I have no idea why the English translation didn't just make that the title. Like, they had the perfect pun to translate, instead they just shortened the name. Anyway, here was my attempt when playing the demo, making me from... They had a feature where you take a photo of your face and it would turn into a character, so I have no idea actually how accurate this is to my real face because I have face blindness. For all I know, this could be the least accurate Bon that has ever existed. This is also before I started dyeing my hair blue. Believe it or not, there was a time when I looked boring. I never had this hairstyle though. I actually can't stand having ponytails. It gives me bad sensory stuff on my scalp. I'm constantly scratching if I wear one. I just thought this looked cool like a samurai. What I found interesting though is the game generates 2 random siblings for you when you start the game, and that's really cool. It was fun to just see what the genetics of my randomly scanned in face would turn into. And then for my final playthrough of the game, I went for an OC I had at the time called Florin. He's the one on the right, and here's his 2 random brothers. I laughed my arse off when I got the monk hair. Here are some various random generations of children he had throughout the game. The whole point is you're playing through generations upon generations of the same family, trying to break the curse. Whoever your protagonist is, they're going to be dead in about 5 weeks, but everyone else will carry on their lineage and save the world in their stead. And a cool feature is every single time a character dies, you get this dramatic, sad poem about their death. Unfortunately, I could not weep for funny hair, man. What are the odds of both his eyes and his hair randomizing to the stupidest possible thing? It'd be really cool if we could get more sequels to this someday, or actually a proper translation of the first game in the series, because we only got the PS Vita one. The main series, Princess Maker games, me playing Princess Maker Kakeo, the Korean-only App Store game. I could not understand a single word of it. I blundered through it. This is before we even had Google Translate working on screenshots and stuff. For a while, this was the only Princess Maker game I had any access to play. This was before they finally localized a few of them in English. I just kept making all the characters from Team Galactic from Pokemon. Also that one scary kid from the 6th One Piece movie. I didn't like when they redesigned the Jester though. It's because now he's a romance option, he has to be your age. I like at least they made him a bit androgynous, but that's just a boring normal white man. He used to be a cool middle-aged funky elf with a big giant kabuki wig. You can't get better than that. Absolutely bizarre circumstance. Like, this is what Cube is meant to look like. It's what he looks like in every game. It's what he looks like in this game, Princess Maker 4. And somehow along the way I found this strange screenshot. I was just googling research for the game and it was there. Who the fuck is that? And the only information I could find is it was used on this page, the Princess Maker Gamebox game download service. Some version of the game being sold in a different country. This is through Google Translate, and I don't know what country that is. It's definitely not Korea, because I know the Korean versions have cubes still looking exactly the same. So the idea is either he's been censored in one region the game was sold in, or some fan made a really weird white cube edit, and this news source for this website of this particular country's adaptation of the game just picked the wrong image somehow. Bootleg game on the App Store. It was a jigsaw puzzle thing which just randomly has cube and says it's Princess Maker. It wasn't even jigsaws like putting together Princess Maker art or something. It was random windows looking backgrounds. Oh yeah, the anime story / love story / my girl. Mystical Girl Princess Maker. Little Love to Develop. Series by Cat Cap Company. These games just kept getting taken off the App Store over and over and over again and coming back with a slight rename, often just the name on the App Store and not even the one on the title screen. I have no particular clue why. It didn't seem to give you a virus or was super predatory. I think it might just be a big grudge against them. They originally just titled the game Princess Maker and tried to get money off it. So basically once you're on the shit list, I think you're on the shit list for life. Anyway, the first game in this series is set in a sci-fi future but had barely any sci-fi aspects to it. Here's one of the only endings I liked. Here's the other ending I liked. I don't really like the fan service, but hey, at least they brought back the sci-fi stuff eventually. The second game had you raising a pair of twins, pick between a boy and a girl route, but the characters were completely different with different personalities, designs, CGs, routes and everything. That was a cool idea. Didn't really like the design for the girl one, and her route was very, very sexist. Lots of creepy fan service when she was young, all her male love interests are really hung up on gender roles and don't treat her right. I remember there was one particular guy, Snow, who was like the sensitive, nice dude if you played him as a gay romance on the male route, and then if you romanced him with a girl, he would just be a total incel, and it was like a totally different character. So I wonder if an entirely separate writing team handled the two routes. Anyway, here is Snow happy gay ending. He was my fave on that version, and we deny the other one from existence. And I haven't played the third one myself, but apparently it's again raising a pair of twins, but instead of yin yang on the OG or whatever it's called, the exorcists that banish demons in China, it's angels and demons in Christian mythology instead. So basically the same game again, just with a different coat of paint. That was why I didn't play it. Random outfits I liked. Pumpkin, sweater vest, strawberry, fancy dapper like Elvis rock star suit, demon floof, and stripies. Also, one of the random monster encounters is the most shameless rip-off of a Dragon Quest slime I've ever seen. They just drew spirals on it and made it stoned. This game is called Tomac Save the Earth, and I really want to play it. It's never got translated. A raising game, instead of a princess, it's a plant that grows human heads. And I have no idea what the context is. I cannot find a single shred of information about this on the internet, but I am so fucking curious. Little Horror Razor is unfortunately the worst Princess Maker fan game I've ever played, which sucks because it's about raising monsters instead of princesses. Basically just everything about how the actual game runs is terrible, even though the designs are cool. There's no save feature. It's a random chance of gaining inventory items that give you a bunch of crazy debuffs, and there's no way to get rid of them unless you happen to run into another random event that can help. You can just be constantly drained every week by these stupid fucking things. There's ones where if you don't get rid of them within 20 turns, you'll immediately die and lose all your progress, and you can't fucking save. So I would say never ever play this, and in order to encourage you to not do that, I'll show you all the potential monster evolutions. Ghost Blob Baby, Ghost Blob Teenager, Ghost Blob Adult. And I for a long time thought there was no change between the good and evil raising paths for the Ghost Blob, and then I realised it just adds a little mustache. Demon Girl Baby, Demon Girl Adolescent, Demon Girl Good Path kind of becomes a nun, Demon Girl Evil Path becomes a funky lesbian punk. I think I know which one's probably more popular with the players. Zombie Frankenstein Baby, Zombie Frankenstein Adolescent, Zombie Frankenstein, I think this is a good one. It was kind of hard to tell. And oh yeah, this is a bad one. It's just a cliche 50s biker guy. Squiggly Thing Baby, Squiggly Thing Adolescent. Squiggly Thing Good is honestly the scarier one, and bad is just a cool cloak. I was going to have a montage of all the endings, but I realised I can't really remember the context of all these screenshots after literal years. And also none of them were interesting in any way. It was all just like, and then your monster becomes a superhero, and then your monster takes over the world through mind-controlling sodas. It's just, they're all comedic nonsense. The only thing worth mentioning is one of them has a shitty, outdated Soy Jack meme, and that gives a general impression of the quality we're dealing with here. Another untranslated game I found, which looks cool but I will never know because I'll never get to play it, Kulu's Birthday. It's about raising a little homunculus fairy thing in a jar, and what I find fascinating is how you raise them changes which gender they end up growing into, and there's 3 options. They're listed as genders, but it's like male, female, and gay man. Yeah, kind of weird there's no same-sex female option. And then here's just miscellaneous blurry screenshots I can find. It's really hard to get any further info on this game. Oh, Prince Maker. This is one of my favourite fan games. Might be made in China. There's 3 of them, and only the second one ever got translated into English. And I just like it. It's a very basic, here's a fan game, you raise a boy instead, and he can be bisexual. Hooray! Here is a big screenshot of all the ages of raising your boy. I always found it really weird how he just spontaneously changes to an entirely different character design for the last 3 years. And every single outfit you've unlocked up until that point will also be totally different. Usually the main Princess Maker series, they have 3 sets of life stages. They have young, early, and late teenager. Here's an example of how wildly different the same outfit can look on the 2 age stages. I still have no idea what the context is for why the sailor suit turns into, like, guess is that some kind of unique Chinese cultural wear? Would make sense somehow as being a spring outfit. And then over the last option, there's a cross-dressing option. And I really like the fancy kimono and the wig and everything on the older one, but the younger one just looks like he's really uncomfortable. I guess maybe it's meant to represent that he's grown into his confidence with gender non-conformity, or it's just a random fan service option. I'm reading too much into it. Here are the gay options in the game. You can date this angel dude, and you can date this demon dude, whose skin tone is very inconsistent between different arts. Is he tanning and untanning rapidly between scenes? You can also technically date 3 girls, but it's a very strange disparity in how it's treated by the game. The dudes all have full fleshed out romance fruits, multiple scenes, and they're really difficult to find. They're treated like true endings. And then the girls are kind of just walk into a random area, you meet a girl, and if you fail to get any other ending, I guess you get with the girl. Could not really glean a single personality trait from any of them. Here are some random endings that look cool. There's a big inconsistency with the art though. They must have got a bunch of different guest artists to do different ones. Here are some other ones. You can become a magical girl cafe maid, or the Grim Reaper. I like the Cat Witch, I like the Demon Overlord. There's also a frankly huge amount of variety for NPCs who teach you various stats and classes and stuff. They're also in wildly inconsistent styles. I still have no clue what the hell that Sonic looking thing is. I guess it's meant to be a paintbrush creature. Here are all my personal favourites of monstrosity, grandpa-ness, and gender ambiguity. The top left one was part of my childhood non-binary awakening. I don't know why I just perceived that character as being very androgynous. I ended up making an OC based on them who was non-binary and imagining all kinds of fun stories with them. And the one second from the left, I just love that maniacal cutesiness combined with crazy demon eyes. I have no clue why I look like that. Again, literally every one of these characters just acts completely normal like a regular shopkeeper. It's just so funny. And Memories Remember Me is another game on the App Store. I liked the science teacher guy. He very grumpy. And the art teacher is literally just Bob Ross. There are 2 Princess Maker fan games that contain Bob Ross. What are the odds of that happening more than once? I think if I remember it was Oh My Prince, You Are Becoming Lovable, a gay dating sim version. I can't find the research I had for that. I did also like that one of the love interests, as far as I could find in my playthrough, has no mention of any gendered pronouns. I don't know if they're intentionally meant to be androgynous or non-binary, if it's just a translation mistake. The game wasn't super well translated. But yeah, unfortunately, as much as I really liked Paris, that's their name, I never managed to get their romance ending on any of my playthroughs. And there weren't very many helpful guides. I did, in fact, instead accidentally get the romance ending for this fucking creeper grandpa. I initially liked him too. I thought we were just platonically bonding, but the game is really weird. You just get a romance ending with whoever you did the most classes with, and some classes are by people who are the same age as you, some classes are very much not, and nothing in the game tells you this is how it works. So I just got jump scared at the very end. My daughter walking up to the altar, and this grown-ass man in his 70s is like, I've loved you ever since I met you when you were 10. Fuck that shit. At least I think that means a science guy can't be a romance option, because I definitely took more classes with him than this dude. Please say he's the one sane non-pedophile man in the cast. Some miscellaneous monster designs I really liked. It's like a scorpion, and also a dragon, and also a centaur, and it's got 2 whole eyeless, faceless human bodies for the head and the tail. No fucking idea where this spawned from in the mind of the creators, but thank you. I feel like my third eye is open just from witnessing it. Chumby Cthulhu fella. I love this zombie blob. The trolls are also surprisingly unique. And the deep sea dragon has bioluminescence and a goblin shark face. It only looks more like a deep space dragon. This random NPC, he's never actually available as an enemy in battle. This is the equivalent of in Princess Maker 2, you have the demon who, if you bring a necklace to him, he gives you a stat up in exchange for losing morality. That's basically the same event as in the game, but he's got a really cool design. It's wasted on being such a minor NPC. This could be a full untangled, this could be a love interest option. I stumbled on an APK for a cancelled game, early alpha demo of it, Oh My Princess Saga. Apparently went under a few other names during early announcement and working on it, and there's no insight on why it was cancelled. It's a shame because it seemed nice, and it was original. There was no stolen assets from the actual Princess Maker or anything. Mixes Princess Maker with your expected cliche aspects of an App Store game. You have to play match-free puzzles and stuff. I liked that there were a lot of funny animal people around the town. Apparently some of them were supposed to be romance options when you grow up. It even had a neutral gender gender option. You only dress up in a few outfits in the demo. There's only magic and sword classes and 2 matching outfits for each. A few occasional funny translation mistakes. And a few limited updates of a game on their official Facebook page. It seems the name had been changed to Match Princess at this point, and it was saying that same-sex romances might have been an option. A screenshot of some kind of convention in which they were posing the game. It directly says it's a Princess Maker inspired game. It's made in Seoul, Korea. It's just such a shame it never went anywhere. It looked nice, it was promising. Maybe they just ran out of funding. Oh, I actually have a little bit of footage. Oh damn, it's bit crushed to all hell, and it's just like a 5-second loop of barely audible music. Damn! And that is all I got. That is all the remnants of Bonford of 2 years ago having an idea.